Special thank you to our sponsors of Russ Reels Live, the Corvallis Chamber, the Alzheimer's Association, and We're Local. For more information on the Corvallis Chamber in Corvallis, Oregon, and how they support business in their community, go to corvallischamber.com. And for more information on the Alzheimer's Association and how to support their fight against Alzheimer's, go to alz.org. And finally, for more information on We're Local, connecting people to local places, go to we'relocal.io. Ta-da! Welcome to Russ Reels Live, everybody, on this Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Yes, I'm trying to figure out what time it is right now. And so, listen, I am so glad to have everybody here today. You know, I love this show. I love because I'm able to bring on amazing people to talk about some really important subjects. And, you know, today we're going to talk about advocacy and just really standing up for something you really believe in, and whether it's an organization or a person or whatever that might be. And I've got a couple of great guests today. We're going to talk about that. But first, wanted to remind you, Russ Reels Live is here every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, like I said, for your listening and viewing pleasure. That's right. After we're done here going live, not only does it sit on all of the platforms that we broadcast on, which is LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook, it sits there for infinity and beyond. That's right. It sits there forever. But also, it converts to audio podcast. So you can listen to it in your car on iTunes, Spotify, whatever your favorite podcast platform is, if I can speak. And so, yeah, I would love to just have you share all that information out. Let people know. You can watch it, listen, whatever. In fact, that's a good idea to do right now. In fact, you can just share this out. Let people know that we're on talking about advocacy. We've got some great people here today that really just amazing friends of mine, but have so much value for you today. So share and tag your friends. You know, you put the little @ sign, tag all the people you know that should be here listening or would have some great stuff to add in the comments, because you know what? There's a lot of connection and community building that goes on in the comments while the show's going on. So I would encourage you today, do that. And also, don't be shy today. Engage and let us know you're here. Just say hi. Say, woohoo, I'm here. This is a great topic. Love it. Or give us your input, no matter what that might be. Let us know what you think about this as we talk about it today. You can ask questions. You can talk to other people in the comments, whatever is working for you today. Just want you to engage. Also, it would be so amazing if you would join our YouTube page. Well, how do you do that? You say, well, you can subscribe today by going to russreels.live. Pretty simple, right? Russreels.live is the way you go straight to my YouTube page. You can hit the subscribe button. In fact, you could open a separate window right now and just do it. Go ahead, open that up, subscribe right now. We'd love for you to be part of that growing community. That would be so great. And you know, I am all about connection and community building. And the best way to get in touch with me is to go to russhedge.com. Look at how simple that is. If you know my name, you get to my website. If you know the name of the show, you get straight to my YouTube page. That is pretty miraculous. Well, anyway, for simple-minded people like me, it's great stuff. So yeah, appreciate that. Please do that. Please subscribe on YouTube again, like I had said, by going to russreels.live. And just so thankful, again, that you're here today. I have several books out. I'm not going to go through it all, but when you go to russhedge.com, you can actually not only get my book, Befuddled, Live the Life You Choose, which was my first book, but you can get the 4 collaborative books that I've written with amazing other wonderful friends and authors over the last about 8 or 9 months. And we just came out with Perspectives on Cancer. Let me get one for you. Here we go. I wanted to grab a copy of this because I'm really proud of this book. Many of you know my cancer battle over the last couple of years. And Perspectives on Cancer, this is volume 2. Part of this amazing organization that Tim Sona started. And I am just so thankful that they invited me to be part of it. Also, Beyond Boundaries just came out, and Dr. New's with us tonight, and she's been involved with all of that. So that'll be amazing too. So we're going to get this party started before I've talked too much. And we're going to start. Guys, I know you were here first, but I'm usually ladies first. So I think I'm going to bring Dr. New. Well, let me think. Yeah, we'll bring Dr. New in first, and then I'm going to have George kind of lay some groundwork for us. So are you ready, Dr. New? Here she comes. Woohoo!
Hi, Russ. How are you doing? Can you hear me okay?
I can. Hey, we're going to have everybody just give a little snippet about themselves before we get this topic started today on advocacy. And number one, I just want you to tell people the amazing things you're doing, because I know you're already, I mean, you blow my mind every day. Part of the Hounds, you're part of some amazing groups, but give everybody a little snippet of who is Dr. New and what are y'all up to?
Yeah, well, thank you. First of all, I'm so grateful to be here with you, Russ, and everyone, not only watching us live, supporting us, and the replay. And, it's just, for those who don't know, I'm just a passionate of advocating for mental health. And, for those who are on their cancer journey or they're surviving. I'm part of the cancer Congo community, and then, cancer and showing up on Perspective with Tim and Shannon. And it's just, as myself as a sepsis survivor and a holistic practitioner with health and wellness world, I truly believe that mindfulness, when we're being mindful and intentions on where our thoughts come in and what are the thoughts coming out and our actions that are executing from it. And it starts with loving and kindness and empathy and compassionate for everything that we do. Then you not only can prevent yourself from going burnout, but also realign yourself with the purpose and why we're here on this earth, so that we can have a more fulfilling and joyful life. And that's all about me, and everything that I do will always center back that we have to have self-love, that self-kindness, that self-empathy and compassionate. In everything that we do, the rest will flow. And I truly mean it. And that is how I take my professional, holistic spirituality, everything in one, because I believe that it can't be separate. It can't be mind separately, body separately. It's mind, body, and soul, or the spiritual world. Everything is in one. So that's about me, Russ. And I love you. I appreciate you. And you know that I think highly of you. And so it's my honor and pleasure to be here.
Well, you're such a blessing to me. Thank you. I'm blushing now. Okay. Before I blush too much, let's get Chris in the house tonight. Chris Hennessy, great friend. He's the man. There he is. How's it going, Chris?
It's going, man. How are you?
Good. I'll tell you, it seems like the only way that you and I could ever talk is for me to get you on a live stream. So I'm so grateful that you're willing.
You have my phone number, man.
I know.
I'm terrible about it. Like you are a master connector, and I connect with people, but then I'm not good about reaching out. So yeah.
Don't worry. Glad to have you here. Hey, give everybody a little snippet of who is Chris Hennessy. What are you up to?
Man, yeah, like you said, my name's Chris. I have two jobs. I work for an electronics recycling company during the day, and my side gig is remote producing live streams with some social media management thrown in there with it. I'm really passionate about ending the stigma around people that have had felonies or have had drug addictions or anything like that. I did some time in prison myself because of drugs. And I lost my brother last month because of drugs. So that's something that's really very near and dear to my heart. So, yep, that's me.
I know that's what I love about both of you. And George is about to pop in and join the party because you're so passionate about what you believe, and you advocate so well for what you feel is so important. And George is near and dear to my heart. Here he comes. Hey, George.
How are you? Nice to meet everybody. Thank you for your time.
You bet. I am so glad to have you here. your story is pretty amazing. So give everybody a little snippet of who you are and what your story is all about, George.
Sure. Actually, today is April 11th, and it's Parkinson. It's actually World Parkinson Day throughout the world. That's how big, unfortunately, Parkinson is impacting the world. It's also Parkinson's Awareness Month, so this is a great time. My background is I was a attorney, then I became a police officer and did a PhD in criminal justice. I've dedicated the beginning of my life to helping family members of homicide victims, so people who lost their loved one due to crime. But I kind of moved, obviously shifted when my mother unfortunately had Parkinson's disease, and it took over her life the last 4 years. She had it for 15 years, but at some point she just couldn't really function anymore, and it was very heartbreaking. She was my best friend. So today I advocate just to make sure that other people know they're never alone. I always say we send our love, support. We care a lot about you, and you're never alone in this fight. I'll advocate for you, and together our voices are so much stronger. And I always joke and say I'm just getting started, because every time I see a new journey or a new person out there that has to battle this disease, it really reignites me and makes me want to really never sleep again, and just trying to do my best so that no one else ever has to go through what we did.
Yeah, this is what you and I have so much in common, and that has to do with our mamas, and your mom dealing with Parkinson. My mama passed from Alzheimer's. And, I thought how fitting, one of the sponsors of our show today is the Alzheimer's Association. And I always advocate for that because I want to speak out for the disease that has no cure. They've made strides towards it, but it has no cure. And I know that you really, it's so impactful. And we had this discussion, you and I, about how you advocate for all of that. And so go a little deeper into, you have a website, you reach out to Parkinson, families as well. Talk a little bit more about that.
Sure. We started togetherforsharon.com in memory of my mother. I felt like 3 or 4 people would see it, and that would be it. We're up to 40,000 somehow. And I don't ask for money. We don't accept money. We don't want anything again, but people to know that I'm out there fighting for them. I actually just released my book yesterday. It's a journey of a son. That's me through the really tougher times, but through the from Parkinson's disease caregiver to advocate today. So I always say, even though it's horrible times for me, it brings a lot of light from the darkness, because I've been able to meet some incredible people like you three in your audience. And again, it's just an honor to even be able to have the opportunity to speak. I also learned quickly a year ago, my mother passed on 1/1/2020, and I realized it's not just about my mother and my journey anymore. It's about everybody. And I was shocked to find there's about 1 million people in the U.S. with Parkinson. It's the fastest growing neurodegenerative disease in the world, but there's 10 million people in the world. And I kind of imagine getting hit like a cartoon. I was shocked that I didn't even realize that. So I was able to interview 600 people from Africa to India to, you name it, France, Spain, Australia, even Iceland, which I can't believe that, Parkinson's even hits anywhere. And I have that all up on the website for free. Been able to meet with Michael J. Fox. I've interviewed Muhammad Ali's daughter. Ozzy Osbourne's son, Jack, gave me a message the other day. But it's just becoming something bigger. Part of me is sad about that, because that means more people are getting Parkinson's, and I don't want that. But my dream is to stop doing all this and being able to go back and rest knowing that no other families have to struggle. And I fight today for those who are diagnosed, the families, caregivers, but also never forgetting the millions of people, unfortunately, who we've lost due to Parkinson's, and their family members, because they still live on. And unfortunately, a lot of them, move on. You have no choice, but I won't do that. I have to keep going until we have a cure.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. A pastor that I was on staff with, he got Parkinson's, and that ended up taking his life. And, Chris, I think that, you have a whole different, this whole worldwide, what George was talking about, how he's able to reach out to this worldwide community. You have seen that through live streaming like we're doing now, and just what's available. Mm-hmm. But you advocate for your passion because you went through it, for that stigma with people. And talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I don't post quite about it as much as I used to, but I do have a live stream called Ending the Stigma. I swap back and forth between it and another show, usually quarterly, because I'm not crazy like Russ and go live like 6 times a week.
Crazy, yes, definitely.
Yeah. But really, I bring anybody on that has been justice involved at all. Maybe they've been to prison and gotten out, or been on probation and gotten off, and they're doing really, really good. Family members of people that have been to prison, people who work for or volunteer for organizations that help people that have struggled with addiction or have come out of prison. I've interviewed a former warden before, and just got a perspective from his side of it. But really, it's just to raise awareness and open people's minds. And, you bring somebody, I don't look like I've been to prison. I'm not covered. I mean, I have tattoos, but they're not prison tattoos. I don't look like I've been to prison. And 1 in 3 people in the U.S. have been justice involved in somehow, shape, or form. And that's a pretty big number. That's a third. So it doesn't always look like what you think it looks like. And if we can kind of open people's eyes to the fact that, yes, not everybody that comes out is going to stop doing the things they were doing. I will be the first to admit that. But some of us do. And the ones that do deserve us, everybody deserves a second chance. But, the ones that do, they don't need to be cookie cuttered or stereotyped or have the stigma associated with them. And it's been really cool because I'll get DMs after the show. Chris, I never even thought about this before, or you've totally changed my perspective on it. And so just by doing a live stream 6 months out of the year, it has really helped people kind of shift their perspective on that.
Yeah, I think that, it's what we have at our fingertips, Dr. New, that we're finding, whether it's writing books, collaborating together like you and I have done, or whether it's live streaming, which again, you and I have done, people coming together to really stand up for what they believe. And, whether it's a cause or a person or a stigma, whatever that might be. So, this whole idea of advocacy has so much impact on people's lives, right, Dr. New?
Yes, it's a big big thing for me, and how I see is that the reason why everything happened and why mental health and people struggle, like what Chris mentioned, is that not everyone who gone to prison, or let's say they're displaced or in the, what people call, or homeless, right? Let's not judge how they got there, but be empathy and compassionate to care to listen to their story, and also advocating them, providing a resource and a tools and a means so that way they can get better. But people don't get to do that because they put on that frame of bias, that their own bias, right? Oh, they're the bad one with the tattoo or whatever it is, right? that many people are judging, right? Because that is where we view from our own perspective, and it could be our own kind, our own. And it's when we talk about cancer, another metaphor that I like to look at is that people always think of it. Yes, it is horrible, and I know that like Shannon, who's supporting us from the hospital, but it's also a perspective how you take on it, and how you live your life at the moment, and how you're giving a voice for others who are not able to even say a word about their journey. And that's where advocacy is so important, because until we have this conversation on mental health, on Parkinson's, and the caregivers, right, and the importance of giving people a second chance and the well-being, people will never know that a tall, healthy man can also have emotional challenges, right? That are thrown
Right.
at to say, oh, you just need to be man up, right? Or you need to be woman up, or whatever they want to call. You need to suck it up. But sometimes we all need that support, and sometimes it's okay to have that down moment, but also know that there is someone to listen instead of just bypassing and disregard your feelings. And that's so important. And that is where I think we have to not just put in our knowledge, our skill, our book skill, our street skill, our experience, and put it on someone else's expectation and expect that, oh, Russ or Dr. George or Chris or anyone, this is what you should lead with. This is what you should do. But how about we listen to what they have to say and how are they feeling and how can we adapt and adjust and tailor our care to what they are going through. That is something that I think is missing because it's so like a cookie cutter, you know, when people think this is a formulary, this is what you're supposed to go through. This is, you know, A, B, and C, and if you are not aligned, you're out. Or the same, you know, it's not a black or white, right? And that is
Right.
how I see each individual person that's struggling, their voice and their, you know, struggle are important and they matter. And each and every one of them is so, you know, they're precious. And, you know, they're showing up on our show right now, on your show, Russ, and she's in the bed, you know, and that's how much people are meant for because they know that it's being heard and they're valued because we touch their life, right? Those are the things that by advocating, people understand that we understand their pain, right? We
Right.
can empathize, and it's just so much more that we need. And I love your heart, Russ, and that's where you are true loving kindness and genuinely care for others.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. You know, George, I think that so many people feel like they don't have a voice. And I think you have really created a voice around this whole movement with Parkinson's and all that you're doing. And when it affects your family, it is so close to home. I mean, that I know this because I've been through that. You know, also this whole cancer battle I've been through, I really advocate for that now as well, you know, having to deal with both of those myself. But talk to us more about giving a voice to people, George, and all that you're doing.
Yeah, the main reason I was honored also to come on tonight is I'm really trying to reach people who are not aware. Those are people who do not have Parkinson's, people who are not caregivers of those with Parkinson's. Unless we get everybody on board, we're going to be further from a cure. One of my colleagues, a doctor, mentioned a lot of, you know, not stereotypes, but misconceptions. And one main one is it used to be Parkinson's was an elderly man disease. That's not true. So there's a lot of falsities out there that I'm just trying to make sure that we're aware of. Anyone, unfortunately, can get Parkinson's. We're not 100% sure why. Many feel it's the environment. So water, pesticides, even a lot of the time, you know, even mold and termite things in your own home that you're not aware of. I was shocked when I found out the other day that a doctor told me that it could even be the dry cleanings, the chemicals. So I want to take my suit off and never wear that again. But there's so many, you know, things out there that we have to be aware of, just simple things that we could change. And they believe it's preventable. Unfortunately, there's no cure. My mother had it for about 15 years. For the first several, she was able to live alone. She still drove. She was independent, still went out with her friends. Unfortunately, when it caught up and that it took away everything. She had a little stiffness in her left arm. She had, it's called frozen gait, where you have struggled to even sometimes walk. She had more internal tremors. If you see Mr. Michael J. Fox, the famous Canadian actor, who's one of the biggest advocates and my hero for Parkinson's disease awareness, he has external tremors, so they're more noticeable. But there's also things called dystonia, curling of the toes. And, you know, one of the biggest problems was every time we tried to fight Parkinson's, I felt like a little nail in the hammer just hitting me back down and down. So it was a constant struggle, but I wouldn't have given up anything. I think, as we spoke before, I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for my mother's sacrifices. So when it was time to call on me to sacrifice whatever I could to be there for her, then I, you know, was honored to have that opportunity.
Well, there was a little glitch in technical difficulties there, but here we are. And, you know, I am so glad that you have been able to elevate all that you're doing. And, you know, I mean, it's amazing. I tell you that I have really, when it came to my mama and Alzheimer's, it was just so important for me to get the word out there and get involved with the Alzheimer's Association, all the things I was doing. And then through the cancer getting involved with Perspectives on Cancer, Kicking Cancer, get involved in organizations, and I know that you are so involved in amazing groups doing amazing things. Talk about people coming together and all that can happen there.
Sure.
It's like the House of Business or the Level Up Academy. The thing what I think is advocacy is not only sometimes is coming together and knowing that we all not only better together as in acknowledging each other's strength and weakness, right? And leverage and also lift others up. When you come together in community, it provides a strength that lies that you have the ability to lift others up who have fallen and maybe to help them rise up again. And we have done that so many times, and that's being an advocacy for others who are, let's say, give them the voice, give them the courage and inspiration, lift them up, even though they might not be able to give anything in return for you. That is truly something that you're able to serve and to provide a resource and empower, inspire for those who face adversity or challenges every day, because people go through life with so many storms and ups and downs. But how can we empower, inspire the world to be better? And it starts with each and every one of us, right? It has to start with us. We cannot just reflect and say, what can you do for me, Russ, right? It has to be, what can you do to be better, to show up so that way people know and we can give people hope, right? The healing process, when we talk about, when any struggles in any communications or any challenges in business or anything, but when you open your heart and really open your mind and hearts that and to be able to bless others, to be able to receive, not just to feel like it's a competition, it's a collaboration. And when you're advocating, even if someone who do the same thing as you do, but they're not going to be Russ, they're not going to be Dr. George, right? It's all about, well, how can we come together so we can be better and stronger because of the collective strong soul and the energy that we can come together. And that is how you can offer support. We can offer, and we don't judge, right? And just let it be in the power of uniting and collaboration. Just watch it unfold beautifully. And
Right.
that is the thing I truly believe in, because when you serve from that heart, you don't have a motive. You don't have an intention of what's in it for me. The rest will flow. And it has to start with us, with having compassion and empathy, right? So that way we can rebuild our lives and others.
That's right. Well, and how do we do this? By coming together, and because I am a true believer, like you're talking about, we are better together. We collaborating and coming together and making a real impact. And George, I know that you have really spearheaded this movement that you have, but how have you worked with others to really make, I mean, you've talked about reaching out to Michael J. Fox and to all kinds of Muhammad Ali's family and so many amazing people, but have you found people that have just been drawn to you and want this to go even further and willing to help you with what you're doing?
Yeah, I enjoy the virtual because I get to meet, again, all of you and your listeners.
Right.
But this month, because it's Parkinson's Awareness Month, we've had many events. So I've been honored or lucky enough to, last month, I attended the Michael J. Fox Foundation IQ. It's a community event. So everyone comes together, had a table. And, sometimes I'm out there and I have a little table with my mother's, picture and talk about our story. And sometimes I'm in the middle of like pharmaceutical companies selling things. So people are kind of scared first to come to me. They think we're trying to sell something, but then when they realize what we're there for and what our message is, that we want nothing but to show love and support and that they're never alone, they actually come up and they hug us and they're, we all have a cry together and just, they're still fighting it. But I've been there and, I know somewhat, even though Parkinson's affects everyone differently, I know somewhat what they're going through. And just knowing that there's someone out there like me, I guess for them also inspires and keeps their hope alive. But again, a lot of time, there's not as many events, but I did the Michael J. Fox event. Last Sunday, we walked at the Parkinson's Foundation. And next week is the American Parkinson's Disease Association Symposium. Then I'm actually flying to New York City, and everyone's welcome to join us. It's an event for it's called the Unity Walk, where everybody once a year, it's the 30th year anniversary in Central Park, New York City, walk in memory of their loved ones. So that's going to be an incredible moment. But again, it's just really jam-packed because it's Parkinson's Awareness Month. But I always joke again with everyone, I say it might be Parkinson's Day, World Day today. It might be Parkinson's Month, but it's every day for me at 24/7. It's Parkinson's awareness until we find a cure, because I can't get out. Even writing my book, if we have time at the end, it still brings a little bit of nightmares, reliving some of the, like the final week. So my book is really important. I don't care about the money, to be honest. I probably shouldn't say that, but that's not what it's for. I just wanted my mother's journey out there. I want people to understand what, you could happen, and also that there is hope at the end of the tunnel. And again, until we find that cure, we all have to join together, like both of you were mentioning, and really as a team, just keep sharing. If we could reach just one person tonight, then we've changed the world. And that's all my goal is, even in this incredible talk with both of you.
Well, because it's one person at a time, right, George? I mean, that is how we come together and we make a difference and we impact people for whatever our cause is, whether it's Alzheimer's, whether it's Parkinson's, whether it's cancer, whatever it is, we come together. And with that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you lead us off here in our last little segment and give everybody really your gold nuggets and your wrap-up comments of today's discussion, and then let us know how we get in touch with you. And George, when we get to you next, we'll let you talk a little bit about your book, but you're first. Ladies first.
So really, the strongest soul, emerge from the deepest struggles, and how we can offer support and not judging, and really watch, the power of resiliency shine, right? And so when we have compassion and empathy, it also will guide us. And also we will seek not only to support those who are rebuilding their lives, but then everyone deserve an opportunity, like to start anew, like a second chance. So let's not judge. Let's, we have 2 ears. Let's have more patience, more empathy, and have more kindness to listen with loving kindness and see how it unfolds, and have a curiosity, right? To also see how can you support. And sometimes don't think that it has to be financial. It could be a voice supporting. It could be saying, you should check out Dr. George, you should check out Russ. Those are ways. There's multiple ways to be an advocacy. You can, share the YouTube, the video, whatever it is, but we have the power to transform the life, and it starts with us. And so do not look outside for what's outside to change your world. We have the power to do that, and we have to be mindful, and it starts with us. So we can come together and we can make things change for the better, to make a positive impact in this world. And we need more lights. We need more of Russ. We need more of Dr. George, and Chris and others listening. We need you to really elevate your voice, to be the voice for others. So
Awesome.
Love you all.
So great. Hey, and by the way, while you're spreading the love, how do people get in touch with you?
Oh, well, they can reach out to me on LinkedIn here. And then I'm also on my website. It is on, constructing, but it's knhealthconsulting.com. There's a lot of things that I really, truly want to be of service, and how I can bridge the gap for those who are struggling and trying to do good in the world. And that is really what we hear. And it starts with us have to take care of ourselves, watch what we do, our mind and everything. And if you can't reach me, reach out to Russ. He knows how to get a hold of me.
There you go. I get a hold of everybody. There you go. All right. Well, you're amazing. Thank you so much. You're such a blessing. George, give us your gold nugget and wrap up comments, and let us know about your book and how to get in touch with you.
Sure. I don't think this is just about, again, a talk for a half hour. I think we have to continue this conversation. It's the only way we're going to find a cure for all the diseases. I'm not here just to actually together for Sharon.com. I have a blog with someone who actually lost their husband the same day I lost my mother, and we have a blog that their husband was to Alzheimer's. So again, sorry to hear of your loss, and please everyone share this, support Russ, support the doctor, because again, we're all in this together. I don't want anything in return except everyone out there to know they're never alone in this fight. Website is togetherforsharon.com. We're not a nonprofit. It's just a website. I'm just one son who lost his best friend, his mother, unfortunately, to this disease, and I'm never going to stop fighting for others in her memory. Together for Sharon, again, somebody told me the other day, told you, Russ, that they spent 10 hours on the website reading interviews, and I didn't want that. I just want people to know that it's out there. But I mean, there is a lot of good content. It's growing. My book will be on there. There's videos, interviews. It's just getting too big. Sometimes I can't find things anymore. But yesterday, ironically, my book just came out. I don't know if you can see it. And this is actually, this is my mother. It's called Son's Journey from Parkinson's disease caregiver to advocate. And if you can see, the reason I'm showing it is not to sell it, but the cover, it's me and my mother dancing at my wedding. So my mother and my wife also became best friends. And that was the one moment, like, honestly, Parkinson's didn't matter. It didn't exist in that one moment. We were dancing to one of her favorite songs by Barry Manilow, I Am Your Son, or I Am Your Child. And she used to torture me when I was younger with all the Kenny G, Barry Manilow, Lionel Richie, and now I love them all. But, every time, unfortunately, the bad memories come back. And I don't know why, but as you probably know, the grief sometimes overpowers the good memories. But I could tell you that one memory of us dancing at my wedding not only was my best day in my life, being married to my wife now, but being there with my mother in that moment, and she was able to still dance and still smile. Almost really for the last incredible night ever. So those are the memories that we have to keep. Parkinson doesn't define you, and it'll never take away our memories. So I just want to thank you both and your audience. I'm so grateful for the time. And I'm always out there if anyone ever wants to reach me again. It's just me. I am on every social media, and I don't know why. And people think we're a big organization. We're not. It's just me. And again, it couldn't be accomplishing the reach that I have if it wasn't for all of you. So I'm so grateful, and thank you all.
Well, first of all, I'm so grateful for both of you, for Chris, who had to drop off, for Nancy, who had a last minute change and couldn't make it tonight, but is also such an awesome advocate. And, I am so thankful that we have this medium to be able to share. Like you said, George, this is an ongoing conversation. This is not a half hour, 40-minute show. This is an ongoing conversation we need to keep having. And your book available to encourage people, the website, and all the connection links for you, for Dr. New, for Chris, they are all on the show notes, in the comments. And if you missed Nancy tonight, her information is in the show notes and the comments. So you can get a hold of everybody here and really reach out. And I encourage you, especially those people that have been touched by Parkinson or have family members that have been touched by Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, cancer, whatever it might be, whatever that might be, and whoever you're advocating for, or whatever cause, like Chris advocating for the stigma against people coming out of prison. Those things are such a great thing to continue the battle and the fight, and continuing to be a voice and coming together, as Dr. New said. And I just want to thank you both so much for being here. What a blessing you both are. And I'm thankful for so many people in the comments that are just reaching out. And we just had CJ join us. So great. What a great collaborator, and really a great impact advocate she is in so many things. So thank you, everybody, for being here. With that, we're just going to say goodbye for tonight. And I'm just going to leave you both on the screen here while we say goodbye. And I just want to remind everybody, we're here at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time every week for your viewing and listening pleasure. And I'm so thankful you made it. Until we meet you again, which is next Thursday with another amazing group on Russ Reels Live. We'll see you then. Have a great day and a great life. Wave goodbye, everybody. See ya. Woohoo!